Table or truth?
Let's keep going here for round 2 of Table for Truth, episode 10-2. And once again, my name's Claude, and this is Tyson, and we were talking about last episode Elon Musk's high-rise hijinks against some of the media empires out there that want to cut ties with his X platform because they think he's anti-Semitic and just blatantly evil or something. Or maybe they just don't like him. They're looking for any excuse to really just hit him where it hurts. I guess we'll never know, because how do you trust a media mogul anyway? But please, Tyson, continue on. What's on your mind?
All right. Well, just to end on Elon Musk, he brought up Pizzagate again.
Pizzagate.
And for a quick second until he got blasted, it's like that has been so debunked. Okay. I got a poor father from North Carolina who drove up with his AR strike.
Yep. That's one person out of 370 million that took it to the extreme, I guess. And did
right.
But yeah,
paying the price for it.
Yeah,
why?
Right,
because he believed in the conspiracy theory. So that has been well debunked.
Sounds
good.
So
why would Elon Musk put it out there?
We won't know unless we ask him personally. Elon, are you listening today? By all means, leave a comment and feel free to share us on your X platform as you will. We'll give you cred for any people that happen to listen. But
okay.
I can't answer that. I'm not Elon Musk. I don't know if I would have done that.
Okay. All right. So let's roll on. All right. Representative in the House, James Comer. He's a Republican from Kentucky.
Right.
He's the chairman of the GOP impeachment inquiry. Has been crying for months about Hunter Biden. All over Fox News about unproven conspiracy about the Biden crime family.
Okay.
So he throws out a subpoena to subpoena Hunter Biden. And so what was the response from Hunter Biden through his attorneys?
Wait a minute, can I answer that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just set him off. Hunter Biden, if you're listening, I apologize. I know you have a good sense of humor. I'd like to think you do. You seem to enjoy fun and high-rise hijinks yourself, so no doubt it was all in fun. I'm not afraid. I'm just saying I'm trying to be a better person now, and I don't want to demean somebody who's not here live. So it was just a joke. Okay, anyway, please continue.
Okay. Right. Well, I think he can take it after...
Because he's resilient.
MTG showed his private pitch.
Go figure. Hunter Biden is more resilient than multiple media mogul empires out there that are butthurt by Elon Musk. But please continue.
All right. So you don't know.
Not yet.
What this? Well, Hunter Biden said that he would be happy.
I hope he finds happiness. Yeah.
Come to the Capitol, answer any and all questions in a public hearing.
Holy cow! First aliens and now this. That's an amazing times we live in, guys. I don't know what to say. Please continue.
Okay, so this is something that Comer, the GOP, members of Fox News who've been crying about Hunter Biden for years, this is what they want to see, right? So what happens? James Comer says no.
Why?
He wants them in a closed, outside the public.
Why are you hiding things?
Aha! That's my question.
That's a fair question.
From coming from Hunter Biden's camp, just a look at it, is that why would Hunter Biden agree to go behind a closed-door hearing? Because we've already seen that act. His ex-business partner was pulled in, closed-door, outside the public, and then after that hearing, what happens? Members of the GOP came out and gave misinformation about what happened and inside the hearing. But also inside the hearing was a full committee were Democrats, and they told exactly what happened. And then when the transcript came out, it showed that the members of the GOP who commented after them will be kind, misinformed the public. There was mention about the calls that Hunter made to his father, and his father would be pleasant and give pleasantries, and then would end the call, and they never, after the estimate was 20 calls through the years, never talked about business. Never.
Ever talked about business? That's provable. I'm not sure how you could prove that.
Well,
okay.
That's the business partner who was in the meetings with Hunter Biden.
The one that was interviewed by Tucker Carlson.
I'm not sure. I never saw that interview, but I don't doubt you. But yes, his business partner who they pulled in, they subpoenaed.
He said though that he was used as a gopher though, so that corporations in Ukraine, I believe, one way or another, could then have access to the big man himself. I believe that's more or less the real issue. Hunter Biden, once again, as far as I can tell, if you've ever watched Arrested Development, he's like the Joe Bluth of the political climate, like the political circles in Washington. He's the son of a rich patriarch, or maybe a now rich patriarch, but the son of a very influential and powerful patriarch, who, of course, would be Joe Biden, right? Who just seems to blunder everything into oblivion. That's Hunter Biden. That's the Hunter Biden we know and love. I thought at the beginning of this conversation, you were going to tell me something inspiring, like the FBI wants to do all this behind closed doors, but Hunter Biden's like, no, I want to come out and tell everybody clean what's going on. And using wrestling analogy once again, he turns super face, has an Apostle Paul moment, and literally moves himself into a reality where he starts becoming a more decent citizen and maybe even presidential timber someday, which would then kind of be a weird coincidence to episode, I don't even know what, of Table for Truth, where I talk about Hunter Biden in the parallel universe. Go see that episode, folks.
Yeah, I don't know why you have that on the brain, that some universe where Hunter Biden could be president.
I'm just very optimistic and very cheerful these days. I'm not saying statistically it's going to happen at all, but
with advertisers,
no more than quantum tunneling right now. But
with advertisers on X, you're not sympathetic to them.
Not really, because not only have they made crappy Star Wars shows that
again, advertisers.
Yeah, but
it's more than just Disney.
Okay, well, there's other ones, but again, like they're welcome to. You know what the best thing to do though, and I don't understand this. Advertisers, if you're listening to Table for Truth, it's okay if you don't want to advertise us. I get it. There's no reason to be all like skinflint about this kind of stuff. Consider this. Anybody listening?
That's the single view advertisers. I love you.
Yeah, I didn't say you were single, but whatever. Here's the thing. The fact is that if you really feel that you want to put your politics above your product, I think in a way that's noble, but then have the adult maturity to be able to articulate your points in a rational manner that could gain people to sympathize with what you're saying, rather than just look offended and then just be like flat out, I'm just boycotting. And people are like, well, why? Well, because I hate, let's just say, Elon Musk, because he's a racist or an anti-Semite. Okay, fair, but some of the counterpoints that I brought up, are you representing every single Jewish person out there, advertisers? Like, that's a fair question to ask you, and don't do the old, oh, I'm not going to talk to you card, because that's what people tend to do. When they're cornered in an intellectual debate, they will always go, well, I'm not going to bother talking to you anymore. And you're like, no, let's talk like adults here. Give me some counterpoints so I can agree with you. You do this every freaking week, and I respect you for that, right? You come in here, and you bring up your points. You don't just storm out and have a fit like so many people I know that are just like, well, cuz, I hate him, or blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, no, let's have a discussion like men, right? Like adults. Help me understand your view of reality, and maybe I'll learn something. There's things that I've learned from you that, to be fair, that like I'm like, you know what, I'm glad you brought that up, because I never looked at it that way. That's the way it should be. Rather than get, I'm going to use a word again, butthurt, and just be like, we're just pulling off all our sponsoring, on the X or whatever, because we represent every single Jewish person on earth that might be using our product, when that's just not true. Okay? There's a lot of people that...
You're purporting that they're saying this when you just accused them of not saying anything.
Then why did you pull away if you felt so morally offended at Elon Musk's comment, why did you pull away? Like unless of course you're representing every single person and you're not doing it for some other selfish reason. Let's just give you the
How
benefit of
about
the doubt.
just simple business?
Business, but like how would? Okay, so Elon Musk throws down the gauntlet once again, right, from that conversation. By the way, we're talking about that conversation from last episode where Elon Musk told everybody to go F themselves who basically didn't agree with Elon's view of, well, how do I phrase that?
A ex-user posted a statement that could be viewed as anti-Semitic.
Right. Could be.
And Elon Musk agreed with it.
Okay.
And Elon Musk got hit with some backlash.
Yeah, which is understandable.
And accused that he is anti-Semitic. So he flew over to Israel.
Yep.
Met with Netanyahu.
Right. Who didn't kick him out of the country. Right. Why would Netanyahu do that if he's such an evil anti-Semite?
Who's evil? Because he's the richest man in the world.
Oh, so are you suggesting that Netanyahu,
yes,
a Jewish person, selling out his principles to money?
He could.
That's messed up. That sounds very anti-Semitic if you got this.
No, it may be anti-Netanyahu. It's not anti-Semitic.
So Netanyahu doesn't represent all Jewish people.
Well, of course he does.
Well, he does
in Israel because he's the head of Israel.
But he represents every citizen in Israel as well, due to his policies.
Well, his policies affect.
Well, of course they affect him, but does every Jewish
Israel.
person, does every Israeli citizen agree politically with Netanyahu?
No, the majority do not.
Logically, well, if you just said that, then logically he can't represent everybody by his own rhetoric. Why would these corporations be any different? Where do they get the gall to assume that they represent the best interests of every Jewish person out there?
They're not. They're representing themselves and their company. It's business. It's business.
So then once again, it's like an unending loop here. Elon Musk throws down the gauntlet and says, okay, let's just see what the market decides and who's the real people's champion. So guys, we don't know what's going to happen. In the next 3 weeks, we'll see if Disney stock is going through the roof or if X stock is doing all right or just Elon Musk is doing all right in terms of popularity versus Bob Iger and them.
Disney.
Okay,
it's not just.
I'm just gonna throw Disney, but throw anybody if you want. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Personally, I'm gonna pull the. How many cards have we used so far? We've used the race card. We've used the anti-Semite card. We used the victim card. I'm gonna use the old lady from Brookfield card. All of you grow up, okay? Have some pie, all right? But whatever. What else we got, man?
Okay. According to the New York Times.
Yes. A very trustworthy syndicate, I might add.
Are you being facetious?
Please continue.
All right. So, according to the New York Times, Israel received approximately 40 pages of the Hamas battle plans over a year ago.
Okay.
Have you heard about this?
Not yet until you told me right now. I'm fascinated.
Okay. All right. So, the question...
Can you elaborate what the battle plans are, though, for the listeners and myself, please?
Yes. Hamas made a battle plan to attack Israel.
Okay.
And so those battle plans included launching missiles as a diversion and breaching the walls.
Through paragliders.
Paragliders were also mentioned, and they were talking to hope to have 2,000 Hamas fighters going to Israel and raise holy hell.
So wait a minute. Just
raping, pillaging.
Very Viking-like, yes. So just so we're clear here, they had access to these battle plans, no doubt, after October 7th.
No. Over a year ago.
Over a year ago. So, wait a minute. So you're suggesting that the leaders of Israel under Netanyahu, or at least that cabinet, somewhere in there were people that knew this was going to happen and kind of looked the other way.
Well,
didn't I do an episode about this, actually throwing that out there, and you said that's nonsense? Wasn't there we go a few episodes back where I threw that out there. I had no proof, of course, because I'm the wacky conspiracy theorist.
I'll have to research that.
You and everybody else.
Maybe it's because I'm getting old. My memory.
Yeah, how convenient.
Doesn't
okay, well, let's take a look. Kids, take a look at the previous back issues. I think it was something like, who the hell left the gate open or something like that. You'll find it in our archives.
The question I always had, and Mossad is supposed to be the elite in intelligence organizations.
You think
and so? Myself and the rest of the world want to know what happened. Why isn't it that they didn't see anything coming?
Yeah, I think I asked that question as well.
Right. So the approximately 40 pages of this document in which the Israeli Authority codenamed it Jericho Wall.
Jericho Wall. If that's not a weird coincidence, I don't know what is. For those of you who don't know your Bible lore, that's the story that the Israelites, when they first invaded the Holy Land in the ancient world, through the mystical, supernatural power of God, were able to surround an ancient city called Jericho as the first sort of victim to the campaign, circle around the city, I believe it was 7 times, and upon blowing the trumpets, the walls just came tumbling down. That's kind of cryptic that they would have used that name for this operation, especially knowing what was going to happen before. Boy, does that sound like a conspiracy theory. Please explain yourself.
Well, that's what they codenamed. Again, this document, and the outline gave a point-by-point reading of exactly the kind of devastation that led to the death of
2,000 plus, I believe, right?
Well, the approximate number of Israelis killed, I believe, is currently at 1,200.
So are you telling me
on October 7th?
Or is this news telling me that those concert goers, for instance, were sacrificial lambs to a pretty bloody campaign somehow to allow this crisis to be manufactured? Boy, this is not looking good.
I got more stuff for you.
Dude, I feel like I've just taken the red pill. Please go on.
Okay. All right. 6 weeks prior to the invasion, a veteran analyst observed a day-long exercise, which she said appeared to be a rehearsal for Jericho Wall, and her superior dismissed it.
Okay,
6 weeks.
What am I supposed to say now? What I told you so?
You told me that?
Well, me and every other person who questioned, I should say, it's not just me, obviously, but everybody who questioned the validity of how are the walls so undefended conveniently without it being an inside job? Like, what are you supposed to say to us crazy, uneducated conspiracy theorists?
Well, what I say is that there were people who were asleep at the wheel.
Well, yeah, we knew that. We could have told you that weeks ago. We didn't have the obvious evidence.
No. What you were saying was the industrial war complex.
Okay, so now let's go deeper down the rabbit. Let's go down the rabbit hole.
No, that's not.
Let's find out. Why were you afraid?
I'm not afraid.
We're going to run out of time eventually because we're starting to time these in 30-minute segments. But the fact is,
you're starting to do 30 minutes.
The fact is,
I roll on.
How convenient. The fact is that something doesn't add up, and I'd like to see where the buck stops at the end of the day. I guess as soon as we find out, folks, what we can, we'll send you the latest news and the latest news on this matter. Of course, if you go research yourself, you'll be able to do the same thing. But hopefully, we're entertaining enough for you. But whatever. Okay, please continue, man. This is crazy.
The document called for a barrage of rockets at the onset of the attack, drones to knock out security cameras, and automated machine guns along the border, along with gunmen to pour into Israel en masse, and paragliders and motorcycles and on foot. And so that's what we saw on October 7th.
Is there anything else you want to add to this?
Not to this segment, but how do you feel about this information?
Well, let's see. Yeah, without being self-absorbed here, but let's just say for the sake of argument, wacky me represents a good demographic of the crazy conspiracy.
Hold it before you go there.
Okay, because
I'm going to add one more thing that's going to
reinforce,
accentuate your point.
Okay.
All right. So the Netanyahu administration took the troops that were assigned to Gaza and moved them to the West Bank. So the troops that were already there, they moved to the West Bank in order to protect the Israeli settlers who have been going into the West Bank, and in my humble opinion, where it should be Palestinian, and what we're looking at, if we're looking at a two-state solution, where they do not belong.
Well, may I respond now?
Not now. Gave you more ammo.
Okay, so far in the last 5 years of my life, let's say 3 to just round it, I seem to have been accurate concerning how to approach the COVID-19 crises. I seem to have been pretty almost clairvoyant, but that's not the right word, concerning how Big Pharma was sort of involved, infiltrating their tentacles in the media somehow, and pushing a certain agenda beyond other alternative ways for people to have been healed. I seem to have been right about the COVID just hitting stateside back in December and January 2020 and December 2019, respectively. And not just me, but I know thousands of people that obviously had the same thoughts and concerns. We were all laughed at, you might remember. We were also questioning the integrity of not necessarily the overall theme behind Black Lives Matter, but how it seemed to have become weaponized somehow in a way that was no longer looking into the best interests of representing what they once claimed, and had to seem to have a double standard on, how they were pushing their agenda across the land. Well, and now this, although I know there's more things I could probably think of. Now, am I going to continue my my odyssey on keeping 1 foot into the strange, surreal waters of crazy conspiracy theories?
I won't mention.
Where's Stone's Cold Steve Austin? Hell yeah!
I won't mention that 1 million people, Americans, died from COVID-19. Because I don't want to blow up your.
No, you don't have to blow it up. Also the way the economy was. Right. Also the crazy Trumpian idea of getting the economy back up and running and not being in lockdown too much. I remember people being persecuted for that as well. That turned out to be economically more accurate than not. So yeah, us crazy conspiracy theorists now, I believe, what would be nice, I think, and this would show real maturity on the people that supposedly are more enlightened than the rest of us idiots, right? How about an apology from everybody who demonized, made fun of, mocked, ridiculed, spat on, demonetized, canceled every conspiracy theorist, or refused to invite him to Thanksgiving. This isn't my personal family. I'm just trying to represent the people here. From ever associating with him, because they voted for Trump, not because necessarily they thought he was a saint, but just because economically they thought, well, hey, maybe his policies might be a little bit more functional than Biden's economic policies. That's another one, by the way. And maybe if people were just willing to admit that, hey, I was wrong, right? And let's make up. If people that really stick to their ideologies here and are willing to die on that hill with all the ultra, like, supporting all this globalist stuff, claim to be as enlightened and as mature as they claim to be, then learn to just apologize and show to be the bigger man or woman. Okay? Just all you got to do. That's it. And now you can have more peace and reconciliation along the way, because no doubt you're all so mature that you're willing, you're mature enough to be able to be like, yeah, I was wrong. And that might actually start the healing process
All
to
right,
our cultural wars.
where's your
going on.
wallet? Where's your wallet? Because I want to see your QAnon card.
I don't have no QAnon card. Oh, by the way, the double standard hypocrisy of the January 6th thing happening versus the recent storming of the Capitol.
You mean
but that's
that
another
the
story.
FBI started it in order to make Trump look bad?
Let's take a look at my wallet, actually, since I'm not afraid to be transparent.
Really? I don't see no
I've got a
QAnon
Visa card here. I've got a TV station card. I have Free Play Arcade.
No, the genius about QAnon is every time they figured out Q's code,
it doesn't matter. I never watched QAnon. Listen,
guess what they do?
Well,
they change the narrative. They move the goalposts.
I've got news for you, Skippy.
Kick the can.
How about these apples? Check it out. I never actually went on a QAnon website or anything. All I did was intuition. It was all my own intuition. I heard vaguely some ideas from the QAnon community, and I was like, yeah, that sort of, and I may quote, sort of makes sense. I didn't believe everything they said. I thought in a lot of ways some of the things were kind of extreme. For instance, you might have noticed I was somebody who was more of okay with social distancing and wearing a mask. I saw the logic of kind of being, halfway about certain policies.
Yes, you were.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. The fact is, I don't know. If you were to take a polygraph right now, I was not on any QAnon sites for the last... I don't even know any...
I'm just saying that you as a conspiracist...
Yeah?
Again, you make these wild accusations.
Well, they're wild accusations, but they turn out to be accurate.
Really? Well,
so what does that say?
There was over a
what does that
million
make me then?
Who weren't at Thanksgiving this year because they died of COVID.
I didn't say that you would have 100% success rate if you didn't follow. Besides, I was never an anti-vaxxer. I was actually like, go ahead, use the vaccine, but if you want to use, other methods of healing yourself that scientifically to this day have not been proven otherwise, that they were super spreading cosms, such as preventive healthcare and taking care of yourself and having no symptoms of COVID. There's nothing in the science books that says you were a guaranteed super spreader by being asymptomatic. Nothing. I would agree, and you know this because historically you knew me during COVID. I 100% agreed. No matter what's going on, practice social distancing and wear a mask wherever you can. But obviously apply common sense. Yeah. So I am really not in that category. But this isn't the Claude show here. Okay. I'm trying to represent us all conspiracy theorists. And starting to realize that maybe they aren't so crazy.
So, what I want to know
Go ahead.
is dealing with the revelations I just laid on you.
Yes.
About the intelligence snafu. They had the material. There are some who try to liken that information to the sparse stuff that American intelligence had prior to 9/11. It's apples and oranges. We didn't have the battle plan from Osama bin Laden a year in advance.
Wait a minute.
They were going to...
Okay, fair. Maybe back then, but it looks to me like...
airlines
it looks to me like...
on the Pentagon,
but all
the Capitol, and then the Twin Towers.
But all that's saying is it looks to me that social media has its place in the modern world because it's a good checks and balances against the mainstream narrative. Because every now and then, as we just proved right now, they may be wrong. We're out of time for this episode, but we will revisit this in the next smashing episode of Table for Truth, 10-3. Please help support the human race by sharing, hitting a like, and subscribing. Share the wealth of any wisdom, knowledge, and understanding gained when you listen to our show. Thank you so much.